And good morning, everyone, and namaste. Thank you for joining Hindu Lounge. This is Hindu Lounge, and Hindu Lounge is, as always, brought to you by Hindu Pact. And the Hindu Pact is the Hindu Policy Research and Advocacy Collective, an initiative of World Hindu Council of America. Hindu Lounge comes live every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern, and we are sometimes a few minutes off because we're still we're still kind of a little bit of amateurish stage in here, but we're getting better at it because this is our 92nd episode and we welcome you today. We have an exciting show and with a little twist, as I told you last time. Our co-host for this program, by the way, I'm Ajay Shah. I'm the president of World Hindu Council of America, and generally I am joined by Utsav Chakrabarti, who is the executive director of Hindu Pact. And as we mentioned last time, Utsav is out this week. He is on a trip to India, a well-deserved break after a long time, and so he's not available today. But we do have a very exciting, a very interesting co-host to join us today this morning on the show, and that's Adele Nazarian. And Adele, welcome to Hindu Lounge.
Hi,
So
thank you.
let me briefly introduce Adele and then turn it over to Adele to say a few words. So Adele is the director of communication and legislative outreach for Hindu Pact, and she's been with Hindu Pact for about 4 months now. I would say, Adele, close to 4 months, right?
Yeah, yeah.
About 4 months, and she's doing an amazing job. She's also a media fellow at the Gold Institute for International Strategy, and amazing person to work with, and really well articulated, very well articulate. Presents the positions at every level in a very nice way. And Adele, I'll turn it over to you to talk a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk about United Colors of Holi and what it means to Hindus and why we are celebrating this year Holi in a little different way. We are saying that it's an old tradition with a new twist. But before we go into that, let's hear from Adele.
Thank you so much. Such an honor to be here with you. And of course, Sujit, he's in India, and we're sending a shout out to him when he watches the show. And but I love this program, and I think that you do such an incredible job. And I love what Hindu Pact is doing, and the amazing work that's being done to help raise awareness about a lot of things that are ordinarily not covered, for example, by the media, and giving a voice to really Hindus and Indians in the diaspora that is different from what is ordinarily presented in the media. And it's getting a lot of attention because the truth will always find its way. And that's what it's about here. It's about shedding light on the truth. And that's why I'm so excited this program is going to talk about Hindu Dharma as well, United Colors of Holi, and just the path of righteousness and doing what's right and good. So it's an honor to be working with everyone here, and I'm looking forward to this awesome program ahead.
So Adele, thank you. And we've always said that this particular program is really like having being in a coffee lounge and having coffee and have a casual conversation. So we really it's not as formal as a lot of other programs. It's just a couple of people having conversations, and if people want to join, they can join by chat or they can join by actually just join our restream channel and start chatting with us live. And we welcome everyone to do that. And we have, and then we are carried as a recorded show on multiple outlets as well. So we are working with organizations like Tag TV, and we're working with other outlets to, it's obviously our own social media channels and all that. So I should say that Adele has a wide following Twitter as well. She has almost, what, 65,000 followers,
Yeah,
right? How'd you
yeah.
manage to do that?
I guess just by honestly just speaking the truth and people looking to me to get messages out there that are not ordinarily covered, that things that they're thinking and that no one actually is saying in the media. Back my previous life, I was a journalist. I had a very successful journalistic career, and so I grew my following that way. I guess organically, just speaking truth, and really, really, I'll say at the core of everything that I do is that I really just want to help advance humanity, push humanity forward, and to help elevate the position of people. And I think people realize that, and it's from a genuine place. And so people, I like to give an example. I think trust has been so severely eroded in our society amongst people. And so when people can look to someone who they actually do trust, and I'd like to take, pride in the fact that I'm considered a trusted person, much like yourself. And so I think that's the main reason why I guess they trust me for some reason. So hopefully we can grow it.
Absolutely. So Adele, today we are going to talk about this United Colors of Holi, and what I'm going to do is I'll just have a small set of slides, a few slides that I'll first go over the slides, and then we can talk about what challenges and we have in the society today, and how our Hindu ethos can bring people together. And really, Hindus have always said Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It's from Maha Upanishad, and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means the entire universe is one family, and we're not distinguishing between the plants and the animals and the human beings, and we are saying entire universe. So we have to live in harmony with all our surroundings, and we have to treat everyone equally and treat everyone well. And that is our underlying ethos of Hindu Dharma. And so, Holi, we are celebrating. Holi is this exuberance of colors and festivities and people coming together. And so, when you put Holi and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, you get United Colors of Holi. So let me show a few slides that we have, and we can do a little bit of voiceover. And please feel free to interrupt and give your comments and all that. This is, as I said, this is very free flowing, and we just basically have a conversation around these slides, and then we have some other, then we'll pivot to some of the recent challenges we have with bringing about the unity, diversity in the society, and what we are going through, some difficult times in this world, and we'll talk about that as well. Okay, so let's. So this is the United Colors of Holi, and what we're saying that it's a new American tradition, and it's really unique to America. But where did it come from? So it really it's a little slow, but Holi is traditionally considered a victory of good over evil, and this is about the Narsimha Avatar. And Narsimha Avatar, as people know, is when Prahlad, who is a devotee of Bhagwan Vishnu, was under severe stress, and under he was going to be killed by his own father. Bhagwan Vishnu takes the avatar uh, of Narsimha, which is half a lion and half man, and he rescues Prahlad. And the reason for that was that the father had this boon that he could not be killed by, it could not be killed by animal or a human, neither on during the day nor during the night, nor neither inside or outside. And so all of these uh, 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 parameters were honored by Bhagwan Vishnu, and still Bhagwan Vishnu had to rescue his devotee, but and also free the world of this evil. And that's Bhagwan Vishnu comes to this earth every time then when the world is in trouble. And so this is one of the nine avatars, that one of the 10 avatars, one yet to come, a Kalki avatar. So one of the avatars of Bhagwan Vishnu. Right? So Holi is actually a celebration of Bhagwan Vishnu's Narsimha avatar over a powerful Hiranyakashipu, the father, rescuing the devotee Prahlad. Okay, and then it is also a victory of powerless against power. I mean, Prahlad was a child; he was not even 10 years old, and Bhagwan Vishnu comes and rescues him. So it's a victory of powerless against those who have power. I'm sorry. And it's also test by fire, right? Prahlad had so much faith. He sat in the fire with his aunt. He's sitting in the fire, and his aunt is immortal, but all Prahlad has is faith. And even in that, just that faith, that his devotion to Bhagwan Vishnu will pay off, and Bhagwan Vishnu will take care of him. And that faith. So holy is this test by fire, and it's in survival, even against immortality, and that is what holy signifies. But a lot of people also look at holy as the celebration of eternal and divine love between Radha and Krishna. So you see this kind of celebration in ISKCON and other places. And it is also the advent of spring. It is spring. It is festive occasion, and the flowers are blooming, and just it's colorful time of the year, and that's what Holi is. And I know you live in Washington D.C., and you're probably waiting for all the blooms to come up,
Yeah,
right, in a month or two.
yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love this time of year.
Yeah, and it's the thing is that if in Holi, during the Holi, the rich and poor, people of different different ethnicities, people who are people from different creed and different regions and speaking different languages, different background, they all come together. They throw this color powder at each other, paint each other's faces. So it really is coming together of everyone, and it's just celebration. It's just pure
Oh,
exuberance.
I was gonna
Good.
add something. The slide you had where the fire tested through fire, I was like, oh look, holy is symbolism for life.
It is. It is.
Honestly, it's
It
the
absolutely
fire of
is. and
the
and it's also community coming together, right? I mean, like, everyone is coming together and celebrating. So it's community coming together, and it is something that unites everyone, just like music unites everyone, art unites everyone, Holi unites everyone. And it also reminds that everyone that the colors of our skin, colors of the nationalities, ethnicities, all of them really don't matter. It is everyone. When you have your face that is painted red and green and pink and yellow and blue and all of that, really your skin, the idea is that your skin color really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, our skin color, all of the skin colors are coming together, right? And at the end of the day, it's not our skin color, but it's something that is much beyond that. It's not just the skin color, because it's our nationality, ethnicity, but why is that? And the reason is on the next one, and that is, it's our faith that brings everyone together, right? And why is the faith? And just say faith, and I'm not saying it's one particular faith, the other. It's just a faith as a generic term that brings everyone together. And that is because the color of our skins are just the outward expression what is truly inside, and that is our soul. And we all share the same soul, and that is why the colors of our skin, uh, the outward differences that people have, they don't really matter. And it's the immortal soul which is inside everyone that is unifying everyone, and that is the basis of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The entire universe is one family, and it's expression of that same universal truth in different forms. And that is why that oneness is holy, and that is why we celebrate this year. Starting this year, we are celebrating United Colors of Holi. So we are taking the tradition of Holi, the faith, the empowerment by faith, the celebration of what true inner soul that everyone has, regardless of the differences that they have, outward differences in appearances people have, and talk about the unification of everyone. And that, Adele, is the concept of United Colors of Holi. And now I would like to hear from you. What do you think about it?
I love it. Thank you. It's interesting also. Um, sorry. Each color also, as you said, carries a meaning, right? So, for example, red, it symbolizes love and fertility. Yellow could be seen as it's the color of turmeric, which is a powder that's obviously native of India. I use turmeric a lot. I love it. And it's used as a natural remedy. It's used in Ayurveda. It's used to heal. It has so many amazing uses. And then also blue represents not only the, you know, um, Krishna Bhagwan, but also water, the sky, and then green, right? It symbolizes new beginnings and also earth. And so every color that's used has a unique kind of association. And I love what you said, um, how you talked about the fact that everyone, regardless of skin color, that they all come together under one connected umbrella and lens. And I think that it's interesting though, because some people are there's beauty in diversity, right? But there are some who are weaponizing diversity by pushing these identity politics in a very toxic way, instead of celebrating it and realizing that we're one and the same. And what you said about the soul, ultimately, right? It's Atman, I believe, soul. It's the that's we're not there yet. We're far from it, but the way we're going to have unity on Earth, for real, is whenever everyone, the collective soul becomes one. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of why we keep getting reborn, going through
Yeah,
these
and,
cycles.
I mean, you're really plugged into the international affairs and international politics and all of that, right?
Mhm.
And you're also plugged into the Washington D.C. And how do you see, And I know it's very hard because when real life meets philosophy and ideology, things are never as easy as they would seem. But if you were to, how would you suggest we carry this message, and how do we, I know it probably will take many lifetimes to make a change, but how do we make a progress towards making change towards this ideal world that we all envision?
Thank you. That's an amazing question. Honestly, I think the problem is selfish people. People who are, and I see in DC most anywhere more than anywhere else, I'd say honestly, than on Earth, DC. And what happens is, I think that I'll use a small example, right? The way to get to where we need to be is by every person when they find, for example, the person that they love, um, and they will choose to nourish that and cherish and protect that. It's a blessing, right? And when you have your dynamic where you can protect your family, the people that you love, and the person that you love, then when you solidify that core, and this is so important for everyone, you will be able to then together do more and help the world, and to help people realize that what the soul inside really wants is that feeling of oneness. And when you have and you nourish that blessing of love, for example, then you can allow other people to also realize and place value on it, and then they can learn to also love in a greater way. But it's about people coming together and not taking their own selfishness, you know, into at above others, right? And that's the way you're going to be able to spread that message, through example. And oftentimes in DC, you see a lot of people who are just so, I'm going to talk about it, it's very toxic here. Everyone's so career oriented. And it's all about, what can you do for me? What can you do for me? And people don't really have that I feel inner reflection of what the soul really is about, and to be there for other people um, is beautiful. But I think that the important thing is people also have to realize to listen internally and to be there for themselves and to listen to what the soul is saying. So sorry if I went a little off topic, but just felt I had to get that out there as a message
Well,
to
that's an
everyone
important
listening.
message, right? And you know, but the interesting part is that look, we talked about Holi and we talked about how this positivity message of Holi and positivity, right? We talked about
Yeah.
Holi as this festival that is, you know, that signifies the victory of good over
Yeah.
evil. We also talked about how this message of universality is based on our ethos of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, our entire universe is one family. And yet, there are people out there who are today, as we speak, are trying to weaponize Holi. And what
Yeah.
they're saying, they have about 3, 4 years ago, they came up with 3 years ago, I think they came up with this whole concept of Holi against Hindutva. And as people know, Hindutva is the essence of Hindu Dharma. It is the definition that has been universally accepted, including by the Supreme Court of India, which has defined Hindutva as, as essence of Hindu Dharma. And there is a group of which is targeting Hindu kids and Hindu college students, and they're promoting again this year a narrative that in a program uh, called Holi against Hindutva. And what they are saying that they are going to set fire to the essence of Hindu Dharma. So why how does this uh, in a here we are promoting unity and we are promoting diversity and inclusion as the basis uh, for people coming together. And here is a group that says, look, your unity and diversity and all of that comes from your Hinduness, which comes from your Upanishads and Vedas, which says, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, our entire universe is one family. Now, instead of, so we're going to make a direct attack on that by setting your essence of Hindu Dharma on fire.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's essentially it's counterintuitive. It goes completely against the whole purpose of it, which is to destroy people. So actually, the what you're saying is they're trying to destroy the concept of people coming together and the world becoming one universal family, so to speak. And they're the ones who try to push these narratives also similarly of identity politics as a divisive factor to help to make people feel like they actually are different than one another and to point out these differences and blaringly to make people feel like they have less in common than they do, um, basically trying to say that they're trying to divide and conquer, and that's the oldest trick in the book, so to speak. And so
Yeah,
that's why
really.
so people don't realize like righteousness, merit, moral duties and obligations, the individual governing an individual contract. That's what Hindu Dharma is. And people, I think collectively, where they should realize is that this applies to every single person. It's just like the Noahide laws, let's say, which are universally applicable as well. Just be a good person. Don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat, don't kill. And of course, we know life is energy, and you have to operate in darkness and light. But ultimately, in order to conquer the darkness, you have to be able to also know how to operate in it, right?
Yeah.
And
But I
you go
mean,
in
look,
darkness
these
and
are
you
the
shed
same
light.
people. Yeah, absolutely. But these are the same people who actually, had last week. They had a conference, and and I talked about it last week. So they had this conference at the end of the February, and that was called India at the Brink. And these are the same people who had the Dismantle Global Hindutva conference. And the whole idea, India at the Brink, the whole idea was that there's a genocide coming up is just imminent in India, and a lot of people, millions of people are going to be killed. And it is they want to warn the world that this genocide is imminent and world should wake up to it. Where now here is a country with over a one and a one and one over 1.25 billion people, right, around 1.4 billion people. And they have been uh, you know compare with country with that significant amount of diversity in terms of languages and in terms of the day-to-day living habits and everything else. It is probably the second largest Muslim country in the world.
Mhm.
It is the third largest Christian country in the world, or fourth largest Christian country in the world. Actually, in Asia, I'm sorry, not the world. It is a country which has had a presence of uh, you know all the religions. Judaism existed in India for a couple of thousand years, and the Christianity existed in India for all the a couple of thousand years, and people live, and to come and say that because you don't like the political persuasion of a certain political party, to say
Yeah.
that India is falling apart, or India as a political as an entity should not exist. um, yeah, and then you translate that to US, and you say that I'm gonna, and one week you talk about India at the brink, and why India as a country has no right to exist because it's this evil place which discriminates against different faiths. And then the next week you come up with the idea of I'm going to attack Holi, which is the essence of Hindu Dharma. So people who are what should Hindus be doing on this? I mean, you're under a new attack from a different angle every single week.
I think that it's important to not allow for, well, look, the more voices can be heard on different channels. That's a nice message, by the way. Um, People getting their voices out there. I mean, social media, you have decentralized platforms now where people can actually get out there and spread the word, and they don't have to rely on the traditional media sources, for example, like the CNNs or Foxes or whatever, even Times Now, different channels in India, and to be able to just get groups of people together and to spread positivity and the truth, and to let them show firsthand, no, the way we're being depicted in the media or by these groups and organizations that have a microphone is not actually representative of who we actually are. And the only way is to do it by example. And I think that there's a lot of evil out there, and they just want to destroy all that is good because it's a form of control. When you can actually divide people and you can control them, you have the keys. And it's we can get into the politics of it also, how there's a certain, let's say, political party in the US, for example, which is why our bicameral system is really, really uh, very, very much in danger right now. And that's why there's a calls for an emergence of a third political party. I'll say that I've noticed the Democrat Party, unfortunately, has a lot of control issues. The Republican Party has its own set of issues too. But when it comes to pushing this whole, identity politics thing and the narrative, it's in order to control the people and specific populations that maybe are of a certain skin tone, let's say, and they haven't traditionally had access. And it's very racist. And so even Hindu Dharma applies there in terms of allowing them, and United Colors of Holi, allowing them to be who they are and to not be controlled by a narrative that has been created for them and to rise above it. And so I think with organizations that put on these events to destroy, um, Hindu Dharma, that it needs to be countered. They should be called out. And this Amit, who just said he's going to spread Hindu spiritual growth through the Bhagavad Gita and all the different books, I think it's wonderful. And um, if you could, for example, at a grassroots level, organize and get people together to write a letter to the editor, like to go on and publish things online, or write to the individuals who organize that conference and express your disdain with it. That's just a few steps in the positive direction to counter
Yeah,
it.
well, yeah, there's a when there was a so India. I'm sure you're familiar with the CAA, the anti-CAA movement that took place in India, which was the act that the Indian government passed to give preferential immigration to persecuted minorities in the Indian subcontinent, and this is in people who were fleeing the persecution in Pakistan and Afghanistan primarily, and they would get preferential immigration in India because they had no other place to go. And so the religious minorities would fleeing those places. And there was a that resulted in this sit in Delhi and marches in other parts of India, and there were uh, you know there were speeches given at the time where some people called for India to be broken up,
Yeah.
and the Hindi slogans they used that was "Tukre Tukre." That means Bharat ke tukre tukre. That means we'll cut India into pieces, small pieces, and that took so they came to be known as the Tukre Tukre gang. And these are the same people who last week did this conference called India at the Brink, because the whole idea that they have is that India as a country should not exist. They and the and, and they've been working at it for many many decades, and this was the continuation of that. And I people should actually, I'm plugging their conference. I'm sure that it's India at brink.com. People should go and listen to those speeches and educate themselves. I'm not you know I'm giving them a plug that please, they spent a lot of money in putting up the event. Let's make use of it. Let's listen to the whole webinar. It was a 3-day event. Listen to all the speeches. You don't have to take my word for it, or don't have to take Adele or Utsav's word for it, or anyone who is a Hindu advocate or activist our word for it. I think everyone should go to India on the Brink and India at the Brink, and listen to what they have to say, and then make up your own mind. I mean, really, you don't need any editorialization from any one of us as to what they are saying. They're very clear as to what they want, and they're very clear as to the narrative they want to promote. So it is the holy United Colors of Holi is our way of spreading positivity and spreading a positive message in light of the negativity that is coming out. And look, even if we did not have the Tukre Tukre gang, or even if we did not have India at the Brink, or even if we did not have Dismantle Global Hindutva webinar series, we would have still done United Colors of Holi, because we believe in positive message. We believe in spreading the message that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is good thing for the world. We are not telling anyone that they should all convert and become Hindus. We are not telling anyone that they should leave whatever their belief systems are and all that. All we are saying is that, look, there is something that can unite us. Let's find something that we all have in common, come together, and find common grounds rather than finding the differences between people.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. And I love that you plug that the seminar. Like, yeah, go watch what they're saying. Go absolutely get people fired up. Once they
There you
hear it,
go.
they're gonna be like, no, this is brilliant.
So yeah, I think that's, at the end of the day, I think, we know that at the end of the day, people have to come to this realization on their own. It
Yeah.
is not something that we can kind of pontificate on, right? So this is something we can make people aware, and then let people make up their own minds. I
You
I
know what?
really think positive message will always win at the end of the day.
I think you're right, and that's the biggest thing. It's a lesson in life too. You can't force someone to think a certain way or to realize the reality of what things are. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink, so to speak. So, hopefully, people will have enough wisdom for whatever it is in life to come to the realization of what is right and what is wrong, and speak up and do the right thing.
But what is really, I think, but what is concerning me is the short-term impact of events like Holi against Hindutva.
Yeah.
Because when kids are growing up Hindus in America, their parents tell them about why uh, the Hindu Dharma and the essence of of why Hindu Dharma is good, and what the Hindu scriptures teach, and what do they do in the mandirs and all of that, right? And now the events like Holi against Hindutva comes up, and that leads to people who are believers in Hindu Dharma are now ridiculed, and they're mocked, and then that leads to bullying in the school, and that leads to violence against the kids in schools. So I'll give you one example. There was a picture of NASA tweeted a photo of a high school intern, or maybe a college freshman intern, who did a summer, a summer class or summer internship with NASA. And when they did this uh, when the kid did this summer internship, this girl did summer internship, and the photo was tweeted. She was sitting at her desk at her home because everyone was working from home due to COVID, and her desk had pictures of some Hindu gods and goddesses. Now, this is, remember, this is a high school or a college student, not even a advanced college like graduate student or any of that. And just this girl is sitting there at her desk with some pictures of gods on the desk, and she got bullied online for having the pictures of Hindu gods at the desk. And she got bullied so badly and trolled so badly. And this is the kind of bullying that leads to violence and dot-buster movement, where some people actually in New Jersey several years ago, where someone was actually killed and a lot of people were beaten up. So these are not innocent programs, right? These are the kinds of programs that have actually led to physical violence. And I think that is why people should really understand what the kind of impact these kind of programs are having, and why spreading the positivity is helpful. And it's also good to understand why people are against positivity, because if more people buy into the positive message, then the negativity that people are spreading and the bullying and the intimidation of Hindu kids in schools and colleges will have no place, and that would defeat their reason for existence. And that is why they are against the united events like programs like United Colors of Holi.
I have to ask you, these kids that bullied this little girl, where was this? Do you know?
This was I no this was somewhere in US, because this girl was intern and the internship was online. I As we speak, I'll put up a picture of that girl, and so you can actually see. But yeah, I mean, that is the real threat here, right?
Yeah, the reason I bring it up is also you have to think, why are these kids bullying other children? Why are they seeing this kid as being different, and why are they seeing it as a bad, negative thing? You got to question, is this being taught in the homes? Is it because kids aren't taught to hate? Kids don't hate automatically. They're taught hatred. They're taught to dislike others. So you got to also think, these parents, are they really doing their job? Are they really painting what goes on at the
No,
dinner
these are
table?
the bullying was not done by parents. Bullying was done by all
No,
the
I know.
people who vehemently hate Hindus.
But where do they learn this from, right? Hatred is taught.
Well, these are people. A lot of them in India. A lot of them are here. So this is from a very reputable paper, India Today. And NASA intern mock for goddess Lakshmi Saraswati idol's laptop. And
Wow.
this is the kid, and she was an intern, and all she had was, she was about Hindu, and goddess Saraswati is goddess of knowledge.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Look, I mean, I know, and this is the news item, really badly mocked. And all NASA had tweeted was, "Today is the day. Application for fall NASA internships are due. Are you ready? These are all the current interns."
I think that's lovely.
That
That's
led
nice.
to and that led to the mock. Is this some joke? And then the whole bucket of trolling and everything else.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
I mean,
Well,
just imagine if you're a college student and you just interned. I mean, you're doing internship for NASA. NASA thanks you, and then obviously you're not prepared for this kind of trolling, right?
no, it can actually, a lot of people, it can cause them to end their lives even. Some people have committed suicide over online bullying, frankly, and hopefully that's not the case here. I don't think it is, but it's very sad to see what bullying has done to so many lives. Um, but again, it's easy. It takes a lot of, look, I was, when I was in middle school for a little bit, I was bullied at some point. It wasn't a big deal, but I actually laughed because I realized unfortunately, those individuals have issues with themselves. That's the big thing. Anyone who's going to judge someone else is a very, very deeply sad person inside individually. And there's something going on there. There's some kind of self hatred and self loathing that they have inside. And it takes deep reflection and deep wisdom to be able to realize that. And so I was going to say to all the kids, like that young woman who, that person who said, is this some kind of joke? I can guarantee you that individual, Ayush is the name, is a very, very miserable human being with himself or herself. So
Yeah.
that's,
And then,
that's, uh,
I mean, that was just the first tweet, and after that, there were barrage of tweets of people trolling her.
yeah.
And and look, I mean, here we are, you know, I think that and that's not it, right? I mean, I know that traditionally, in every society, uh, there are groups of people who have been discriminated against on the basis of what they were at their birth. Whether it's their skin color, whether the language they speak, whether we call it the jati or the varna, mostly jati that came from generation to generation and then got branded as caste in some ways or the other by British. But regardless of all the origin and all of that, there were people who were discriminated against in Hindu society as well, or Indian society overall, not just Hindu society. There were people who were enslaved who have been taken out as slaves in India till a few hundred years ago. They were sold in Baghdad and everywhere else. People from India, and then we know the history of African American slavery in America. We know how the indigenous communities were treated in America and elsewhere, and so we fully understand and we fully realize that this world is far from perfect. And a lot of these things still continue around the world. That people get discriminated on the basis of gender, people get discriminated on the basis of all the other characteristics that they have. So I think the message that we are trying to send here is that that kind of bullying, that kind of discrimination, for whatever reason, whether it's someone's religious belief, someone's gender, someone's identity, or whatever it is, should not be the basis of dividing the society, but it kind of the diversity will enrich the society, and that's the message we want to give.
Absolutely, absolutely, I agree. Diversity does enrich society, and um, I mean, everyone's the same, uh, but it's the differences that we should celebrate that actually bring us together. Because you can't have there's you have one hand, right? But you have five fingers,
Yep.
and every finger has a different function, so to speak, right? But actually, have you tried also picking something up without your thumb? I think it's impossible, kind of, to do. If I'm not mistaken, to clutch. I don't know, opening something. It's very
Yeah.
challenging. And people say the pinky is eventually going to be gone. I don't know, evolutionary. That's a whole different argument. But I think the example, at least, one
Yeah.
hand, they're all attached, but they all have different functions. They're all different,
Exactly.
but they're
Yeah.
part of the hand. And so,
That's really that's the essence, right? So Adele, anything more on this before we it was a good conversation on Holi and the United Colors of Holi for people. Once again, I'll put up the graphic here. um, so United Colors of Holi is March 18th to 26th. The actual day of Holi is March 19th. We have dozens of Hindu organizations that have signed on to this event to be partners. Hindu Pact is one of the partners. Hindu Lounge is one of the partners. But a lot of big, organizations, a lot of mandirs, a lot of ashrams, they've all signed on to be part of United Colors of Holi. It is an open architecture program where people just sign up and they do their own programs. We have a common website. We have a common logo, and we give and everyone is free to celebrate the event in their own way. So please, if you are representing any organization, I know Hindus of Greater Houston as a whole organization with dozens of temples just in Houston area have signed on. I know that some of the other larger ashrams have signed on, and many big mandirs. So we also want to thank some of the key participants who have signed on to be partners. The Hindu America Foundation (HAF) has signed on to be a partner. The World Hindu Council of America, or VHPA, has signed on to be partners. The KONA, this is a coalition of Hindus in North America, is a partner. The Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh, which is probably the largest Hindu organization now, along with World Hindu Council of America. So Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh has also signed on to be partners on this event, and a whole bunch of other organizations. So if you're representing a mandir, if you're representing a Hindu organization, please go to unitedcolorsofholi.org. That's unitedcolorsofholi.org, and sign on to be a partner. And we can show a new way of unity in America, and unity and diversity. And we can actually, what we are doing here is providing the real basis for diversity and inclusion, and that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. All right. And with that, we move on to our next let's move on to the next segment, which are our three of our regular segments, right? And uh, these are the ones that people actually, the one that people always look forward to is the Hindu phobe of the week. So we usually keep that as a teaser and keep that for the end, but we'll talk about the two others. But before I go there, I do have a news item that I picked up, that I want to, because we did a whole show on this particular topic. And so there is a latest news that has come out. And this is the, in Canada, uh, a lot of the mandirs and gurudwaras and other places were under uh, were vandalized. So there were about 9 temples, two Jain temples which are called Derasar, and two gurudwaras were vandalized. And there was, and the police had not done anything, because this had been going on from November. And obviously there were security cameras and the recordings, but nobody was arrested. So finally, there were three people have been arrested, and one person is still at large. It turned out to be, they were Punjabi Canadians, but they had vandalized the Hindu, Jain, and Sikh temples in Canada. So that's at least that should put an end to the ongoing vandalism of temples in Canada. So that is just a bit of a follow up, because we had done a whole program on the condition of Hindus in Canada and the attack on temples. The program went much farther than just um, the attack on temples. And Adele, you were instrumental in writing one of the press releases about what the Prime Minister Trudeau had done with swastika and all of that. And there were other instances of Hindus getting beaten up as a to support the farmers' bills and all of that. But because I know that your the press release that you had authored along with Utsav had got a lot of publicity. And so any thoughts on the uh, Hindus in Canada?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate that unfortunately Hitler has made it so that the Hacken cruise has been mistaken with the swastika, and of course the swastika is the symbol of hate. Symbol of peace, and it's a symbol of renewal, and it's a very, very holy symbol used in Hinduism, and it's all very much present in mandirs and Jain, temples and all different faiths across the Indian subcontinent, and it's a positive symbolism. And of course, the Hacken cruise was what Hitler took the swastika and he inverted it, and it's a symbol of chaos and hatred and everything that's bad. And so I think there was one individual who had held up a flag that had a swastika, a Hakenkreuz on it, and so people were going around and saying it's a
Yep.
swastika. And from what I've spoken to people in Canada who have said to me, who are actually in the media world and have worked in the government, and they said that it was actually planted by someone and it was done intentionally. And so you have one individual who does something to kind of present the caravan, people in the caravan who are protesting against Trudeau and what was going on in terms of wages, I believe it was. And then he tries to paint the entire thing as this white nationalist, neo-Nazi kind of event, which it wasn't, of course. But it's sad how, you know, Hinduism is always kind of demonized in these scenarios, and I think it's important to, of course, look. Many Jews were affected, and many Romanians and people were killed. Millions upon millions were killed during the Holocaust. But there needs to be slowly the education and reinformation, I guess, education of people so they can understand that the swastika actually is a Hindu symbol of peace and prosperity, and it is very different from the Heckin cruise. So I'm glad that the press release and at least that event was getting attention nationally, and it was actually covered by a few networks within India, within Bharat as well.
Yeah, no, they
So
did an entire show. Actually, a couple of networks did entire show based on our, based on our press release. So I know that Beyond and there's one more show. The entire show was based on our press release. So that was, these are important issues. It's not that we want to kind of toot our own horn or any of that, but these are important issues, and when they get airtime around the world, I think it gives them more visibility. And so that was great job, Utsav, and you did. And so uh, congratulations and thanks for that. All
thank
right.
you.
Yeah. And with that, we come to our next regularly scheduled segment, and that's the Hindu Seva or Charity Act of the Week. And here, so we always have an introductory music for that. So here we go.
मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं वचसा सततं वदनीयं मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं वचसा सततं वदनीयं लोकहितं.
All right. So it says Lokahitam Mama Karaniyam. So Lokahitam is good for the people, and we want to do good for the people. And so with that, I want to reveal the three organizations that we picked for the Hindu Seva Charity Act of the Week this week. And if I can only find that slide, I will show them. Otherwise, I won't. So I will not. But I do have actually much better than a slide. So let me just show that to you and tell you why I have picked these three organizations. So the first one, uh, in no particular order, the first one that we have is um, ISKCON, and we featured them as well in our show last week. And you can see ISKCON temples are Ukraine open doors for stranded people, and here they are, the ISKCON volunteers who are serving food to people who are stranded, and they are doing their seva. So please go and donate to ISKCON on their website. They've done an amazing job in Ukraine, and they continue to help people who are stranded in Ukraine. The second organization I want to recognize is, let's see, Seva International. And Seva International, as you guys know, Seva International also has a branch in US, International America, or Seva America. And Seva International has helped 30,000 people across across Ukraine with multinational, and this is the Indian newspaper, The Print. And you can see they have an interview with the Seva representative in Hungary, in Budapest, and they've again, it's no a small task to help 30,000 stranded people, regardless of their nationality, regardless of who they are, and they're just selflessly serving the community. And you can go to Seva International's website, SEWA-International, and you can go to the website and make a contribution. They have done an amazing in every crisis that you can think of. So please support Seva International if you want to. And the last organization that we picked as as the third charity, which is also helping people in Ukraine who are stranded, is APS. This is the Swaminarayan Sanstha. And you can see here, oh, I should have made this bigger, but let me see if I can reshare this. I have a better visual of this. So let me share this again. And I want to compliment BAPS. As you know, BAPS is under, with all the great work that BAPS is doing, BAPS I guess this is the only one I have, so I have to kind of live with this. So BAPS is under unprecedented attack in US because they have they're building some of the most magnificent mandirs, and these mandirs have become kind of somewhat of you know uh, symbols of envy for people who hate Hindus, for lack of better phrase. And look, I mean, they here they are in Ukraine serving the people selflessly as they do everywhere else. So again, if you want to donate to BAPS, please go to BAPS and donate to them. They have been tirelessly working and serving the community, as you can see here. And there are dozens of pictures of people of all nationalities. They're serving without any without any without any discrimination, or without any who is who. So these are the three organizations that we recommend you helping: uh, Seva International, BAPS, and ISKCON. All three of them have been tirelessly serving people in who are suffering because of the war in Ukraine, regardless of people's nationality or people's background. Adele, any comments on that?
I think that's wonderful. I love it, and I love all the positivity. And did you want to share one last thing, one last section? I think segment or no?
Yes, one last section. The one last section. This is the one that I usually find some good music, and that kind of. But I won't do that, because I really play some random music, because it breaks Utsav's chain of thinking, and it kind of annoys him. So I usually end up playing some music, but I don't know, when Utsav is not there, it doesn't quite feel the same, because I don't think it's easy to annoy you, but I can try.
No, no,
Uh,
no. It won't annoy me.
so,
Wait, he gets
so
annoyed. He
what
gets
kind of
annoyed.
music would you like to have to announce that particular? So okay. Well, I
Week.
got to play some music, but see, I didn't pick a music. But what I'll do is, after the segment, I'll play the music. I do have one sound by one sound that I can play after we announce it. So let me just say, the Hindu hater of the week for this week is, let's see, I have to bring it up first. Um, just a second. It takes a second here to bring up the different visuals. It's not as seamless, but here we go. The is this. So there is an actress. Oh, there was one more news item. I forgot to mention that. This is the news item. Let me talk about this. The other Hindu good news of the week. Hindu good news of the week. We didn't talk about the Hindu good news of the week, and this is the Hindu good news of the week is something that we don't talk about a lot. But Bali is a Hindu, part of Indonesia. It's complete. It's 95% Hindu, and this week they have a Nepi festival in Bali, and these are some of the pictures of the Nepi festival, and this is the time when Balinese people celebrate with silence, and they make this amazing, really amazing monster pictures and all that. But it coincides Hindu festival of Ugadi in India, and in Bali it is Nepi. It's a festival where they practice silence, and there's a lot of festivities. But one of those days, they also practice silence, and you can look it up on Wikipedia. And that is it. So here it's a day of silence. It is commemorated as a part of the Shaka New Year, according to Balinese calendar, and it's a public holiday over there. There's fasting, there's meditation, and then there's this uh, you know uh, the ritual, kissing ritual, to celebrate the new year, and it's same as Ugadi in India. So that was the Hindu good news of the week.
Amazing.
I almost forgot. And the pictures are just fantastic. I mean, you can. So
Uh,
they say that a lot of these monster kind of things that they create, they generally at the end of the festival they usually burn it. But there's some of them are so good that museums actually go and purchase it and put it at this for display, and they send it to all over the other parts of Indonesia and all that, because they're just so artistic and so well done. So that is the Hindu good news of the week. And
uh,
finally, the go ahead. So you're saying something?
the piece de resistance. What everyone's
Yeah,
waiting for. The last.
yeah. Here's there. Here it is. So the Hindu Pop of the Week are these trolls who are trolling the actress Sarah Ali Khan. Now, Sarah Ali Khan is a new emerging actress, and she has a father who is a Muslim and mother who is a Hindu. And so this last week during Mahashivratri, she prayed to Lord Shiva, and for that she got trolled really, really badly. And these are the trolls who we call Hindu phobe of the week for this week, because look at the kind of messages that she got. She said, uh, you know, that she was said that it said that it's in Hindi, but I'll translate it. आप एक मुस्लिम एक्टर्स होके काम कैसे करा, अगर खाना चाहिए तो सबके अपना नाम के Khan title से हटा लो. Okay, so they're saying that, hey, how can you be a Muslim and have a last name Khan in your name and still be doing the worship to Shiva? This is committing a big sin. And the interesting part is, Adele, I don't know if you know this, but the word Khan actually, and Genghis Khan used this term, right? Genghis Khan was not a Muslim, and the word Khan has nothing to do with now. Most of the people who have last name Khan
Yes, sir.
are Muslims in India, but the original word Khan means a chief or a king in the mountains, and that's what Genghis Khan was. Genghis Khan was not a Muslim, right? He was a tyrant, but he was not a Muslim, and it was a title, a Mongolian title, because he was a chief of a particular clan in the mountains. So that is the title, and the people who are trolling her don't even know the meaning of word Khan. And here, they're all trolling us, saying that, what are you doing to your religion? It's a shame that you have a Muslim name and you're practicing this Hindu thing. And some people said that you are going straight to hell for doing this and all of that. So that is the kind of trolling for a person who has a Hindu mother endures in India today.
Yeah. So
And
it's
for
all
that,
misinformation.
what is that?
It's all the misinformation, historical inaccuracies, and correcting the record.
Yeah, for that we do this. Ah! Ah! Okay. So that is the kind of stuff that we annoy with. So, but he's not here to be getting annoyed. We'll play back the recording just for him.
I love it. That sounds great. Well,
So so this is the kind of so this is the kind of trolling and other things that happen in India for a person with a Hindu mother. She has to go through this, and that, to me, I mean, it's just unconscionable, right? um so with that, Adele, any final comments, because we are at the end of our show.
no, I'm looking forward
I
to
hope you had a good. I hope you had fun for an hour, and I know you had a really busy week this week,
good.
and
Good.
you still decided to do this. So I'm really thankful for that. But this is just a casual conversation, and I'm glad you could spare an hour for this.
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to doing more of these with you, hopefully. And I can't wait for the United Colors of Holi event. It's going to be great. And
We'll find a music that annoys you and play it next time.
yeah, it's gonna. I have a
Right.
pretty. I've become pretty patient. I've learned. Life has taught me to. My one quality is not being patient, that I have to work on. But certain situations have occurred recently that have tested my
Yeah, but if you have
patience.
some
And so
topics that really annoy you, things that annoy you, let me know, and
I'll
we'll
let
do
you know.
quick. I mean,
I'll let you know.
yeah, we'll do that. That's the least I can do, is to annoy people.
Thank you.
So,
It's a sign of endearment. Thank you.
all right.
I love
Hey,
it.
thanks, Adele. Thanks for joining. And before we go, I'm going to say this, that as we turn the videos off and all that, we're going to play the music that is created just for Hindu Lounge by Decibels. Decibels is a group that creates
Mm.
a special music tune for each show of Hindu Lounge. This week they were off, so we are playing one of the previously recorded music, but nonetheless, an amazing music created just for Hindu Lounge by a music group called Decibel. So thank you, Adele, once again for joining. Thanks everyone for joining.
You.
Please join the celebrations of United Colors of Holi. And with that, namaste. This is Hindu Lounge. Hindu Lounge is brought to you by Hindu Pact. Hindu Lounge comes live every week at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. And we'll be back next week with another show on contemporary American Hindu issues. With that, thank you and namaste. And stay tuned for Decibel. Decibels are coming live next, or not live, recorded, I guess. Okay.